Let's now look at scenario 2, where a budgie might need to be removed from its cage for examination and for the cage to be cleaned. Again, the claw method's best, so what you do is you place your hand around the body of the budgie, firmly grasping firmly. So the claw method is where you wrap your hand around the budgie itself, so around the body, around the back of the budgie or the animal. So you place your hand around the body of the budgie, grasping firmly, and lift with possible support from another hand underneath. So the useful advantage of the claw method is that you've got the budgie firmly in your hand, so it's got no scruff on the back of its neck, so you can't lift it by a scruff, but by wrapping your hand around the bird, it folds the wings in, and it also means that the beak then is far away from your hand. So if you've got your hand around its neck and its body, then its beak can't then turn around and peck you very easily. Used to restrain animals, to move them a short distance, give them medication, examine them, or maybe move them into another cage if they need to be isolated. Sometimes birds become aggressive if they're fighting over males, so two hens may become aggressive if they want the attention of one male, or if they're nesting as well and want a particular nesting box, one rather than the other, then they might tend to become aggressive, especially two females. So the claw method's best for that. Again, gloves should be used, so for the PPE, gloves should be used, because budgies tend to have a tendency to scratch and peck, and it's actually quite painful if you get a peck from a budgie, and so it's going to protect the handler. Also reduce the chance of spreading disease from one animal, from one bird to the other, or getting allergic reactions, so the handler is prevented from getting an allergy from the birds, but also lack of spread of disease. So gloves can be washed, and so you're less likely to spread disease than if you're not using gloves. Goggles, again, extra protection just in case the bird flies off, takes flight, and scratches and pecks you. And overalls, again, to prevent the spread of disease and spread of infection. Also protect the handler against scratches and pecking, and also from feces as well. So bird feces, if it flies off, then bird feces may drop on your clothes. And again, there's then the chance of spreading infection from your clothes to another bird or another person. So might need to be evaluated if the bird becomes stressed or aggressive. Useful to have a second handler to pass the animal to. Maybe a net in case handy in case the bird does become aggressive or takes flight or become anxious, and you need to then get it in a net so if it's escaped from your hand. Useful to have a spare cage always with the lid removed so that you can put the animal into that. Younger pregnant birds, more care, gentle holding when being moved, or if the animal is docile or fresh, sort of stress-free. You can hold it for longer, you can turn it upside down and examine it underneath then whilst you're using the claw method. Sometimes you can use a second hand underneath as well to support it. But the claw method is the main method, so you wouldn't probably vary from the claw method, because for three reasons, as we said. One, it holds the bird firmly, because they do tend to try and fly away and escape. They become very anxious, flap the wings and escape. But if you've got it held firmly, it tends to become quite docile. Secondly, whilst you've got your hand wrapped around its body and your forefinger and your thumb around its neck end, then the head can't bite you, so it can't turn around and peck you, because your hand's around its body and part of its neck, and it can't turn its head that far away that it can peck you. And thirdly, I suppose another main reason for holding the birds with the claw method is that you tuck the wings in. The wings are very, very vulnerable to getting broken, and if a bird breaks its wing, then it usually needs to be euthanized. There's not much then that you can do with a bird with a broken wing, and so by using the claw method, you can get it quickly as well, so you can approach it and use the claw method from above, so that prevents it flapping around and less likely to break its wing or become injured because you can grasp it quickly, so you can sort of almost pin it to the floor and grasp it, and also fold the wings into the palm of your hand so that it then doesn't break a wing. So so there's lots of reasons why you might sort of adapt the claw method slightly, but really you wouldn't vary too much from the claw method for a budgie. Even if it were pregnant or young or aggressive, you'd probably tend to use the same method for the reasons that we've stated.